Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. We finally have all of M15 to look at, and you know what that means. Or maybe you don't if you just subscribed recently. Okay, anyways, welcome to our Best of the Rest series where we talk about some of the noteworthy cards in M15 that we haven't covered thus far. As always, we'll start with the white cards. Ajani's Pridemate gets its first reprint in Standard since being an M11. Normally I wouldn't focus too much on a card like this. Don't get me wrong, it's fine for Limited and has neat synergy in Draft and Commander. The reason I like him in M15 is for his interaction with a certain cuddly sheep. Nick's Fleece Ram makes the Pridemate hysterical. The synergy is so strong that it could exist in Standard. There are mono-white aggro decks being made every day. It's just a matter of time before people decide the Ram is worth the spot. Once the Ram is in, the Pridemate just makes sense. I don't know if the Pridemate is viable in any other strategy in Standard, but as far as mono-white or green-white aggressive strategies are concerned, he could be useful. Next up is Devouring Light, a reprint from original Ravnica. Convoke makes this card insanely powerful. It should definitely see Standard play. First, it's another easy way to get rid of an aggressive Thassa, which should be something you're interested in. Second, it fits perfectly into white strategies that run a lot of creatures or just Bremas. Convoke is an insanely powerful mechanic, and being able to tap creatures to pay for both the colorless and colored mana of the spell makes it even more broken as a general concept. Being able to exile is strong right now. This is easily a sideboard card in a lot of white decks. When you start building for Standard post M15, don't forget about Devouring Light. Geist of the Moors is 1 colorless and 2 white for a 3/1 flying spirit. The reason I wanted to talk about this card is because it's going to be insane and limited. Take it from someone who forces blue-white flyers and draft every block. Flyers are always strong. Sure, this is 3 mana and only has 1 toughness, but if it survives, this thing could win games. If your opponent just happens to not find their 1 or 2 kill spells, you're threatening serious damage every turn. Don't underestimate early flyers. They win games. Heliod's Pilgrim is 2 colorless and 1 white for a 1/2 human cleric. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Tutor effects are broken, especially in Commander. Heliod's Pilgrim is amazing in that format. I would take this card as a 3-mana sorcery. Having a body attached to it is fine by me. The more tutor effects I can get from my Eldrazi conscription, the better. Marked by Honor is 3 colorless and 1 white for an enchant creature aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. You could look at this card as the white, worse version of Mark of the Vampire. However, it doesn't mean that it's bad. Vigilance is more useful now than it has been before thanks to Convoke. Plus, this should create a decently sized blocker for you. There are a lot of small creatures in this set. Keep that in mind. Mass Calcify gets its first reprint. I've only ever seen this in Commander decks, and that makes perfect sense. You can expect people to be looking for these in foil to jam into their Linsivvy, Isamaru, and Samurai Commander strategies. I just wanted to mention this because I really like this card. Let's move on. Pillar of Light is the middle child between Smite the Monstrous and Reprisal. They all really hate the number 4, but Pillar, really hates it. This ability should basically say, gods, attack me, you won't. Seriously though, it deals with gods pretty well. I'd consider sideboarding this in an aggressive white deck, maybe, if Devouring Light wasn't around, so it's awkward. Raise the Alarm is back, and that card is good. It was good in Limited and Standard the last time it was around. It'll be good here as well, especially since Convoke is a thing. Tokens and Convoke get along really well. Figure that out. Anywho, Raise the Alarm is instant speed, cheap, and creates things you can tap. I can absolutely see this as a sweet early game spell in Limited or even in a hyper-aggressive strategy in Standard. Soulmender, negating the life loss from Leeching Sliver since 5 days from now, even though it was an M14. Hopefully they don't have more than 1 sliver. It's living the dream, guys. Woo. Sungrace Pegasus is 2 mana for a 1/2 flying lifelink Pegasus. This is a dream for my blue-white flying draft deck. Sure, it's only got 1 power, but it has lifelink. That's a 2-point swing every turn. I'll take it. Plus, when I play him, I get to be all like, boom! 2 mana for my Cleric Horse with wings. What are you gonna do? What? Nothing. Thought so. Come at me! Triplicate Spirits makes me want tokens to be a thing. Convoke makes this card good. Sorcery Speed makes me want to vomit a little bit. After you get over that, you'll notice that this and Spectral Procession are relatively similar. The mana cost is a lot easier to manage on the Procession, but the Spirits offer Convoke. It really depends on what your deck is trying to do. In Limited, this card is great, so play it no matter what, but in Constructed, finding a place for it may be difficult. You want to be attacking with your tokens on your own turn, not tapping them. I'd love it to see Constructed play outside of Commander. I just have to find the room for it in a token deck. It's like first plane problems. The last white card we're talking about is Wall of Essence. Heck yeah! Talk about stopping all those aggressive decks and their outrageous shenanigans. This guy can block for days and profitably. Sure, he can get burned out, but that's going to be a lot harder to do after War Leader's Helix and Mizia Mortars leave Standard. What you need to know is that it's 2 mana, it survives Lightning Strike, and it gains life against blockable creatures. How is that not a recipe for success? Gnarled Scarhide, eat your heart out. You too, Fire Drinker Satyr. Think I forgot about you? Ha ha. I'll never forget. I'm also Batman. What are your favorite white cards out of M15? Is this a color you're considering playing at the pre-release? Later this week, we'll have a pre-release video to help you guys choose if you haven't by then. Slackers. Anyways, remember to subscribe below for the latest and most reliable M15 spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.